The Simpsons predicting a big news event. The story this time is that the iconic TV show eerily predicted the outbreak of the coronavirus.
The Simpsons predicting a big news event. The story this time is that the iconic TV show eerily predicted the outbreak of the coronavirus.
This scene is by far the most specific prediction The Simpsons has made, to a shocking level of accuracy. The question we're asking, the question that's been asked for 30 years.
I have come back in time to reveal the events of the future.
And so the producers have assembled the top supposed predictions made by The Simpsons.
Have they come back in time to reveal the events of the future? Could they have foreseen the next pandemic twist? Whether it's uncanny creativity or happenstance, these predictions continue to amaze us. Is the show more prophecy than comedy? Disney buys Fox. In 1998, The Simpsons dropped a quick gag that felt like a throwaway joke. 20th Century Fox, a division of Walt Disney Co. It happened in the episode When You Dish Upon a Star, where Homer gets tangled up with Hollywood celebrities, including Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger. In one scene, the camera pans over to a sign outside the Fox studio lot that reads as though Disney owns it. At the time, it was just a silly joke. After all, who would have believed that the massive Fox empire could ever be under Disney's umbrella? Yet, nearly 20 years later, that's exactly what happened. In 2017, Disney announced a jaw-dropping deal to buy most of 21st Century Fox for around $52 billion, and by 2019, the deal was done. The result? Bart Simpson and Mickey Mouse suddenly became corporate cousins. This merger sent waves through the entertainment world, bringing icons like the X-Men, Deadpool, and The Simpsons themselves under the Disney banner. Fans couldn't help but recall that cheeky Simpsons scene from 1998 and laugh about how the show once again seemed to peer into the future. Was it just a lucky guess? Maybe, but it still came true in a big way. Smartwatches. Predicted long before people could talk into their wrists, The Simpsons teased the idea of a watch that could double as a phone. In the 1995 episode Lisa's Wedding, set in a future where Lisa is about to marry an English gentleman named Hugh, the show indulges in playful sci-fi touches, self-driving cars, video chat, and most memorably, a wristwatch that works as a two-way communicator. At the time, the concept felt like something out of an old spy movie. Fascinating, but not exactly practical. Who could imagine calling someone without a regular phone, let alone a flip phone? Fast forward, and real-world attempts at wrist-based communication devices arrived toward the end of the 1990s. Yet, they were clunky and expensive. It wasn't until much later, with advances in miniaturized tech, that companies like Apple and Samsung turned them into must-have devices. Today, fitness trackers, text messaging on your wrist, and even making calls from your smartwatch are all part of everyday life. When people realized The Simpsons had shown this future decades earlier, they couldn't help but add it to the list of the show's predictions. Was it sheer luck, or were the writers poking fun at future possibilities? Either way, this particular moment stands out as a lighthearted yet accurate glimpse into our tech-driven world. Autocorrect mishap. Back in 1994, texting wasn't part of daily life, and handheld devices were still very basic. So, when The Simpsons showed an Apple Newton utterly butchering a note, it felt more like a cartoonish dig at early handwriting recognition tech. In the episode Lisa on Ice, the bully Dolph tries to write Beat Up Martin on his Newton. Instead, it interprets his handwriting as Eat Up Martha. The mistake sets off a chain of laughs in the show, poking fun at how clumsy devices can be when they misunderstand users. Fast forward to the new millennium, and autocorrect has become an everyday feature on smartphones worldwide. Whether you're on iOS, Android, or any other platform, chances are you've dealt with the frustration of sending a text message that's hilariously wrong. The phrase, "damn you, autocorrect," gained traction on social media as people shared screenshots of the funniest mishaps. In fact, the joke apparently caught Apple's attention. Years later, some employees admitted that the Eat Up Martha scene became an internal reminder of why reliable text prediction and simple user interfaces mattered. In a funny twist of life imitating art, that one silly Simpsons moment helped drive the improvement of a technology that nearly everyone depends on daily. The mass of the Higgs boson. In the 1998 episode The Wizard of Evergreen Terrace, Homer Simpson decides he wants to become an inventor, hoping to shake off his usual laziness and follow in Thomas Edison's footsteps. While brainstorming dubious inventions, like an electric hammer, he stands before a chalkboard covered in complex mathematical equations. At first glance, it's purely a gag. Homer, a supposedly dim-witted character dabbling in advanced physics, is inherently funny. But years later, fans and even some scientists noticed something striking about one of Homer's scribbles. The equation he wrote down was eerily close to predicting the mass of the Higgs boson particle, which was eventually discovered in 2012 at the Large Hadron Collider. The Higgs boson, often referred to as the God particle, is a huge deal in physics because it explains why some particles have mass. Scientists had been hunting it for decades, making its discovery a watershed moment in modern science. So how did Homer's messy blackboard come to resemble real theories? Some people think the show's writers were inspired by then current ideas floating around the science community, while others chalk it up to random luck. Either way, it's impressive that a throwaway background joke could end up so close to reality. In typical Simpsons style, the show never boasted about Homer's chalkboard once news broke about the Higgs boson. Instead, fans spread the story online, pointing to this moment as yet another reason The Simpsons feels prophetic. Whether it's a cosmic coincidence or a nod to the show's clever writers, the result is the same. The Simpsons managed to blend science and humor in a way that still stuns people today. These examples are just the tip of the iceberg. Over the years, The Simpsons has continued to shock us with predictions that seem to leap straight from the screen into reality. From legalized marijuana in Canada to Lady Gaga's halftime show, a new COVID outbreak, and even voting machine glitches, the show remains eerily ahead of its time. Are these predictions just educated guesses, or does The Simpsons have an uncanny ability to see the future? Either way, fans will keep watching, just in case their next joke ends up being tomorrow's headline.